This has got to be the strangest sweater I own. Tag is on the inside. As you can see, the cuffs are attached on the outside like they're supposed to be. But the side seam is also on the outside. I don't know. So hello and welcome to Domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is another one that was found by my daughter at Kroger. She seems to find a lot of them there. Either that or on Amazon, where she's been picking up Amy Brown mugs for me. But as you can see, this is a very Christmassy mug. It has all the Christmas foliage. It has a Dia in here somewhere. There she is. And the red and the white, there's no pattern on the inside. It is hot. But yes. Oh, and we have to try to show you this without burning our fingers here. We have a candy cane handle. It is one of my favorite Christmas mugs, honestly. It's got a big pattern on it. It's got a lot of pattern on it, but it's also at the same time very, very simple. It's not, it's not a complicated mug. I guess most mugs aren't complicated. Anyway, so in our tea is the Punky Up Cinnamon Bun Herbal Tea with Spices. It is a loose tea. I was introduced to this by Sips By, and I've been using it on and off a little bit. I will say I'm a little disappointed in the size of the canister versus how much you get in here. Yeah, I think this was about halfway full when I got it. It is 3.5 ounces, so I guess halfway full works. But if you're going to have a container that's only 3.5 ounces, why don't you make your actual container fit that size, not this huge thing where it's like half empty. I do like the container in general, though. I like the fact that it's something that I can reuse. And this is a really beautiful chunky tea. See if you can see that in there. You can see all the chunkiness in there. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it does taste like a cinnamon bun, which is interesting. This has, it says preparation for every 8 ounces. Place a tablespoon of tea into the infuser and steep for 3 to 5 minutes. It has cinnamon, maple, orange, carrot, black currant, moringa, nutmeg, and natural flavoring. And all of those things I actually like in a tea, even the carrot, which is interesting because I've noticed a lot of teas with carrot. You will also notice that instead of my usual tea steeper, there's a little metal thing out here. That's because I picked up some new tea steepers from Amazon. It looks like this. It's a very fine mesh. Well, there we go. This unscrews. You can put your tea inside, and then you can loop this around your handle like I have, and then hook it in there, and that helps keep your tea upright. I found that this is important because until that tea soaks up, this will do this number. This is a tea steeper that had a learning curve, but I am very happy with it. It also comes with its own little pan that you can put your tea steeper on when you take it out. I'm going to be leaving mine in. I have found that if you use your spoon to press down on the steeper, it helps keep it relatively down until, the tea is fairly steeped. Anyway, let's go ahead and give this a sip, and then we will get started. I love the smell of this. You can get those spices. As soon as you open this up, you get that wafting of spices. It's beautiful. Just starting to get some of the flavor, that cinnamon bun flavor, but it is still very hot, and it has just started to steep. So 3 to 5 minutes, we should reach the end of this video, because as you all know, this won't sit here as long as usual when we do a look. Anyway, so today we are going to talk about, it's a dragon bite, and we are going to talk about Christmas traditions in the family and what I miss. And we're going to do this look while we're doing it. I did do some adjustments that I will talk about when we're done, from what you didn't see, other than the lipstick, which was the last thing pretty much. But I did want to talk about Christmas traditions. We've gone from a house where we could, well, we initially were in a small like townhouse type apartment. And we managed around there, but when we got into a couple of houses when we first moved out to Georgia, we were able to expand a little bit. And now we're back in an apartment, so we can't do all the things that we used to do, or we have to make big adjustments on what we're going to do. And of course, this year with coronavirus, there's even bigger changes. I've basically canceled Christmas this year for my family, but so far they seem to be, they're not happy about it. I'm not happy about it, but they seem to be fairly understanding. And I did tell them that if at all possible next year, we would try to have make it a really big celebration. Anyway, if you're interested in our Christmas traditions and the things that I miss about our Christmas traditions and in this Christmas holiday look, then just keep on watching and we will go ahead and get started. So for my family, our Christmas traditions used to start right at Thanksgiving. They kind of sort of still do, but with the kids no longer living here and us having chosen not to celebrate Thanksgiving for a lot of reasons, including financial and the fact that I'm Puerto Rican and just would prefer not to celebrate that particular holiday. It's a little harder, even if we could do all of our Christmas traditions right now. Biggest problem right now is that our apartment's too small. Well, obviously, Lady Corona. But we would start at Thanksgiving and we would end on December 6th with his 12th night. And it seemed like a very good time to go ahead and pull down all of our decorations. This is my favorite time of year, and I love to decorate the house as much as possible. I never did put a whole lot of outside lights up, but the inside of the house, yeah, I like decorating the inside of my house. I really like decorating the inside of my house. So we would have our Thanksgiving dinner, and then well, a couple days before Thanksgiving, I should say, because it just made it easier, we would put together the tree. We've always, well, I shouldn't say always. When trees started to get really, really expensive, we chose to move to fake trees, you know, just because paying $125 or $150 for a fake tree that was going to last me 10 years, although it didn't quite do that for reasons, but paying that made much more sense to me than paying $50 to $75 to $100 for a regular tree every year, a real tree. So we just went ahead and went to the fake trees. Just money. Money. So that tree and the ornaments for that tree would go up before Thanksgiving, so it was ready to go. And at the time, one of the things that we like to be thankful for was Christ's sacrifice for us. So we would use Thanksgiving as a way to show that appreciation by decorating what we called our family Christmas tree. And basically the ornaments on our tree either reflected Christ in some way, or they were indicative of a family member. So all of our ornaments had red and white ribbons on them, red for his blood and white for the purity. We had ornaments that we had the angels, we had candy canes, which signify his position as the great shepherd. And then, you know, we just had all kinds of things that were representative of Christ being the great shepherd, being our savior, and being this reason for the season, the center of the holiday, so to speak. So, but the more important ornaments to us were the family ornaments, and everybody in the family has an animal. I think I was the one that took the longest to get an animal for, and By the time I figured out what I wanted to do, we couldn't do the tree anymore, more because of space than anything. We just do not have space in this apartment for a tree. Had we gotten one of the houses, we probably would have gone back to doing things. But basically everybody in the house has, or in the family, has ornaments that represent them. So my husband has wolves. He loves wolves, so we get wolves. My oldest daughter has bears, basically teddy bears for the most part. My middle daughter has rocking horses. My youngest has cats. And then I initially had unicorns, but later I went to dragons, and turns out both unicorns and dragons at the time were pretty hard to find ornaments for. I have seen a bunch of ornaments lately that are for dragons, and if we are ever able to go back to doing our traditions and putting our tree up, I'm definitely going to be picking up a bunch of dragons. But we also included things like everybody had a birth ornament that I'd made. I did cross-stitching at the time, so I would cross-stitch the birth ornaments. We had baby's first Christmas ornaments. Again, usually something I cross-stitched. Although if I did find something for them in a commercial ornament, I would pick that up as well. I used to, at the time, what I was trying to do, and I would like to catch up on, but it would just be so costly right now. What I was trying to do is every year I would give them each a new ornament. So from birth to at least 18, they would get a new ornament. And then at the end of that time, they would have 18 ornaments to take with them when they moved out of the house. Unfortunately, that gets expensive with 4 kids and time consuming with 4 kids because, like I said, I was also doing crafting. I was cross-stitching at the time. And we were having trouble just paying for all that. So we were doing that, and if we ever got to the point where we were capable of doing it, I would probably go ahead and just catch all that up. But everybody got their ornaments, and when the grandkids were born, they were added. The oldest grandbaby is a giraffe. The middle grandbaby is pandas. And I'm going to say I'm just a touch annoyed that that's what my daughter picked for her because it's kind of confusing with the teddy bears. My youngest grandson, I don't think we actually picked anything out for him because we were already struggling by that time. And so I'm going to have to think of something for him and hopefully eventually catch all of that up and start doing the same for him because everybody in the family is supposed to have one. And I mean, I don't remember what it was now, but we had an ornament for my oldest's most recent boyfriend that she stayed with for several years. So he was part of the family and he had an ornament. They all had ornaments. Everybody had ornaments. They all had an animal. I can't always remember all the animals, but they all had an animal. And so everybody would get to put up their own ornaments, and then they would get to help with putting up the Christ ornaments, the candy canes, the angels, musical instruments. We actually had a little, well, we still have them. We actually had a little, one of those baby things that have fishes on it, because Christ is supposed to be the fisher of men. So we had one of those, and so yeah, we had all of those ornaments. I miss being able to put up those ornaments, and with the whole family around and all of them helping to put up the ornaments. And then, so yeah, that would be our Thanksgiving. We would eat our dinner, and The lights would already also be on the tree. We had white lights to represent, again, Christ's purity. And we would finish dinner, and then we would put together the tree. Well, we would put up the ornaments on the tree because the tree was already put together. And then we would, if we had them, if people had them with them, we would take out the gifts and put those under the tree. And that was our Thanksgiving. That was the beginning of our celebrations. And I miss doing that. We can't do that now because there's just no room in this apartment. We haven't had room in an apartment for a little while, I think. So we would do that, and then that was also the time I started the second part. Now, the second part of Christmas is actually, the only reason it's not happening this year is because of my knee. The next day or 2 days after we put up our Christmas tree is when I would start baking. And we tried to bake to send cookies to friends, but I'm terrible with mailing, for one. And for two, it gets quite expensive mailing all that. So now we just keep it to local friends, very close friends, and family. And we make a whole bunch of things for Christmas. And it starts with cookies. And just like I was adding an ornament every year, I was adding a new cookie recipe every year. So this started, I'm going to say it started before I married my current husband. And we've been married like 22, 23 years. So we have over 24 cookies now. We had started with a whole bunch of cookies to begin with. I'm going to put some white up there, I think, eventually. We had started with a whole bunch of cookies anyway, but so over the years we added more. So we've got to have something like 30, 40 cookies now, something like that. We don't do them all every year. I really want to, but it's a lot of cookies. So, and it's not just cookies. I also started to do Whoopie Pies, and I started to do, we have these little itty bitty, they're about that big, little mini pecan, can't remember what they're called, but they're not actually pies because they don't have a pie crust or anything like that, but they're in the shape of little mini pies, and things like that. And then as we get closer to Christmas, to the actual Christmas holiday, I start having to work on our dinner, which we still do. We're not doing it this year for obvious reasons. Again, we've got to deal with the coronavirus, so we're not doing the whole Christmas dinner this year, but it's still one of the things that we like to do. The biggest problem right now is that we just don't have a space for everybody to sit. The family has gotten so large that we can't all sit around the table. We have to find a table and put all the food on the table, and then people just have to sit around the house because, damn, it's a lot of food. And when I say a lot of food, I mean a lot of food. I actually have to start like 4 or 5 days ahead of the holiday. So I have to start like the 20th, somewhere in there. And I have to make cornbread because we do our own stuffing. So I start with that. That takes a couple of days because I have to bake the bread, and then I have to cut it up, and then I have to dry it out. And the drying out takes 3 or 4 days at least. And then after that, I have to start on the main dessert. And I say it's the main dessert because a lot of people can't have dairy. And it's a cheesecake. And that cheesecake takes like 3 days. It really does. It is a triple layer turtle cheesecake. And it takes a whole day to just make the cheesecake. It takes 3 or 4 hours just from start to finish. The cheesecake itself takes about an hour and a half to bake, but it takes another couple of hours, an hour to another hour and a half to put it together, I guess. Like I said, it's a layered cheesecake, so it has like a chocolate layer on the bottom. It has actually 2 different layers of cheesecake filling. One is has chocolate in it, and the other one is just your standard cheesecake. When you're done baking it, and then when you're done baking it and you put it all together, you put it in the pan, you have to let it cool, and then you have to put it in the fridge to let it set, and the next day you do the rest of the cheesecake, and then that needs time to cool. Anyway, so then we do the cheesecake, and then there's a whole bunch of other desserts and breakfast items that have to come in the next few days. I make an apple pie. I make a cranberry, a cream cheese cranberry loaf. I make my own cranberry sauce. A lot of these things have to be done in advance. We don't make our own crescent rolls because I don't work with laminated dough. We do buy those, but I do make my own sticky buns, or cinnamon type rolls. Make those. So, and there's an extra cake for breakfast. It's a breakfast cake. There's just a lot that goes into it. So I spend the whole time prior to the holiday, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, doing all this baking. A lot of it. A lot of baking. We all have our favorite cookies. This year, my daughter is going to be doing most of the baking because of my knee, and it has been cut down significantly. Again, because of my knee, her time constraints, our financial constraints, things like that. So we've picked out a few of everybody's favorite cookies, and that's what we're doing. We're not doing the whole... we weren't doing... Some of these cookies we'd try one year and we wouldn't like them, so we wouldn't put them back on. For example, there's a chocolate chip mint type cookie that my husband just cannot stand. And since only a few of us actually like it, because the mint in it is extraordinarily strong, and something I could probably fix, but he's not interested in me trying to fix it, so I don't. It's not just... There's so many cookies, it's just not worth my time to keep fighting over a cookie and trying to work with a cookie that, only a couple of people in the family like. So as I was saying, I spend most of that time baking the cookies and things like that, and putting them in boxes for the kids to take home, and then putting some more in boxes that will stay with us through the dinner. We put the cookies out during the dinner, so we always have cookies available for people coming in. I literally have something like 24 cookie boxes that I put the cookies in to wait till the day. The first batches generally tend to go out to neighbors and stuff like that, because you don't want to hang on to cookies for 30 days. But they go to neighbors and to close friends that are local. But the later batches definitely are for our dinner. The day of Christmas, the family comes in and we have brunch. My husband makes most of brunch. I make most of dinner. He makes most of brunch. He has a couple of things with dinner he helps with. I have a couple of things with brunch I help with. And that's just how we do it. And this dinner and brunch is basically our Christmas gifts to our kids. We don't go out and buy gifts. And that's because these dinners, this brunch and dinner, cost us anywhere from $250 to $300. And that's reasonable for feeding, well, we're more than 6 people now. We're definitely more than me, my husband, and 4 kids. We have grandkids. They sometimes invite over their their significant others or a friend that needs, you know, has no place to go or has to stay home away from family or whatever. So we always have room for at least 3 or 4 more. I seriously was trying not to like ramble off in some weird direction. Guess what? We rambled off in a weird direction. At any rate, so they come in usually around 10 or 11 o'clock, and we have our brunch, which usually consists of eggs and bacon, my Christmas cake, the sticky buns, milk, orange juice, fruit, yeah, I think that's it. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And my husband makes that all that morning as they come in. You know, when we had the kids living here, it wasn't even that big of a deal. They just had to wait till we were up and ready to go. You know how it is in families with Christmas. The adults are going to get their sleep because the rest of the day is going to be crazy. But, so they come in around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we have our brunch. And then we have hot chocolate, and we open our gifts that the kids bring, usually. And then, so we sip hot chocolate and open the gifts. And then my husband and I get to work on the actual dinner and anything that I couldn't do beforehand. So we make the stuffing. We have Cornish game hens, stuffed Cornish game hens. We make our own stuffing for that. It has the cornbread and walnuts and cranberries and celery. It's really good. It's really good. We tried oysters one year, and I don't think we liked it. But that, and they're not cheap, right? So we do that, and then get those in first because they're going to take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on how many there are. I have had to try to stuff like 16 or more hens into one pan to get them in our oven in the past. A lot of hens. That's a lot of hens. Anyway, and then we work with that done. We start working on some of the other things. We have mashed potatoes. We have something called green beans almondine. We have the cranberry sauce, which is presumably previously made. We do some, since my cranberry sauce is a chunky cranberry sauce, and there are people who like jelly cranberry sauce, I do mine, and then we also buy a can of the jelly stuff so that people who are into the jelly stuff can have jelly stuff. We have crescent rolls. I'm just thinking about everything that's on the plate. If we're doing it that year, sweet potato pie. I'm not into pumpkin pie, so not a big deal. But sweet potato pie can be with the dinner, or it can be a bonus dessert, depending on who it is. Most people seem to want to put it on the plate with the dinner. And like I said, we have crescent rolls, we have olives, we just have a lot of food. It's a lot of food. And I have to actually sit down. There's so much food. I actually have to create a timer or schedule for the food. Okay, so the birds have been in this long. It's time for us to start working on this thing over here. And in general, my husband and I do most of that cooking. Because like I said, this is our gift for the kids. So we don't have them do a whole lot of the cooking. They do help with the crescent rolls. They open up those poppers and put the crescent rolls on the pan for us, and then we get those in the oven when it's time. We have corn, which doesn't require much cooking from us. It's a side. It's frozen corn that we just throw in. So we do all of this cooking, and we have extra pie. We usually do an apple pie too, because like I said, we are well aware that some people just can't have dairy. So we try to accommodate our non-dairy people. And we have people who aren't interested in cheesecake. Cheesecake can be kind of heavy. And this one is a spectacular heavy cake. I have actually tried to make a different kind of cheesecake, and I keep getting told no. Keep getting told. This is the cheesecake we're going to have. This year has been really kind of funny in the sense that, like I said, we're cutting a lot of things back, but most years when I try to cut things back, people get mad at me. They get really, it's like, okay, so we're going to take out this thing. No, you can't do that. That's one of my favorites. I mean, it's just... So this year I was like, okay, we have to cut things back, and especially since we're not going to have all of the people here. But of course, everybody's just trying to keep their favorite part. We're doing the marshmallow yams as usual. We're doing, I don't know if we're doing the corn. There was discussion about doing the mashed potatoes. They were actually taken off the list, but I suspect that they're going to be on there anyway. Because it's not like we don't have potatoes. We usually have potatoes in the house. And it's not like they're expensive. I mean, if you got it, just do it, right? And my husband loves mashed potatoes. And yeah, so... Hello. Oh, the kittens are fighting. How do I know? Mystique is over here with her tail lashing. So it's a big dinner. The green, so I'm going to try to remember it all. Everybody gets their own Cornish game hen, unless they're a little kid. Then they have to split a Cornish game hen with another little kid. And my husband likes me to make an extra Cornish game hen for him for later in the week. So there's the Cornish game hens. There's the stuffing. Both of those, well, I don't make the birds from scratch, but I make the birds from... Anyway. So those are from scratch, and then, you know, so the traditional fare of the marshmallow yams, cranberry sauce. Most years the cranberry sauce is made from scratch, not always, because homemade cranberry sauce, as good as it is kind of on the pricey side. I know I'm missing stuff. Anyway, so cranberry sauce, the marshmallow yams, the corn, the green beans, almondine, the, let me think. Green beans, almondine, corn, the crescent rolls, olives, the sweet potato pie. And I have to tell you, since making my own sweet potato pie, I've tried other sweet potato pie, and I don't like it. I really don't. Store-bought sweet potato pie ain't nothing. Anyway, I'm going to do the rest of my brows and my eyelining and my mascara, and then I will be right back. So as I was saying, we have that big dinner, and we usually start cooking that around 12:30, 1 o'clock, and it can take up to 4 hours to get it together. Usually it's closer to 3, but it can take a while. It can really take a while to get all of that put together. And so while that is out, while we're busy doing all of that, the cookies are sitting out for people to get into. We also have cranberry bread, the orange cranberry pound cake loaf, just all kinds of sweet treats. We did try one year to have the grandkids, little kids, decorate the sugar cookies. I have these orange scented sugar cookies that I love, and that didn't work. So we only tried that one year, and then after that we just went back to making sure that everything was done and decorated beforehand. It just didn't work out very well. And then yeah, we all sit down for dinner and have a good time with that. And I usually manage to get, we have to do dishes because it's at our house. And I generally don't have my guests do much with dishes. They bring dishes in, they help clean They help clear and they help rinse and stack so that I can just go ahead and get to washing. But usually that takes about 2 days to get through all the dishes from that. No surprise, right? All that food. And when everyone's up to it, they gather all their things. They gather their boxes of cookies and treats, and they go on home. How's that? But I miss all of that. I miss decorating the tree as a family, and I probably would miss that a little bit anyway. A little while back, we gave the kids their ornaments so that they would have them for their homes. Although the few times that there's been a few times when they've actually brought their ornaments here to go on the trees. But now we don't even have room for a tree, and it's kind of really disappointing that we don't even have room for a tree. So I miss doing that, and I miss doing all the baking, although that's more of a this year thing than anything. And this year we're also going to miss having all of the kids and family here because of the virus. I shut that down pretty early in the game. I could already see that this was going to be a problem, so I canceled Christmas early this year, and it upset the kids, and it upsets me, but safety first, I think. Definitely safety first. I would really love to hear what traditions you have in your family and what you're planning to do this year, if anything. I know a lot of people, I know that there was a lot of please don't celebrate Thanksgiving this year, do it via Zoom, don't go in person, and people did it anyway. So I hope you and your family is safe and not having any fallout from all of that. But I'd love to hear how you're planning to, what traditions you normally have, and how you're planning to compensate for that right now. Just toning that down. But yeah, it's kind of sad that we kind of have to give up on all of those things that, well, not just because of coronavirus. Like I said, the apartment is just too small for stuff, which is really disappointing. I have too many brushes. I kind of really miss having, the tree up and having everybody participate in the decorating and all of that stuff. I really, really miss all that. We did stockings for a few years, and then we stopped doing stockings, and the other decorations, I'd put wreaths out. There would be lights around the house. We had particular kinds of decorations that would go around the house that I haven't been doing. We have actual Christmas coffee mugs that I would put out that I haven't been doing. It's just a case of where we're going to put all that stuff. And this year we have the kittens too. So there are issues with that as well. So like one of our cats, a trash can cat, she will eat anything. And our living room is a race course. So they are all over the place when it comes to running around and playing at night. And I could just see everything falling down and getting broken. Same if we actually were able to put up a tree. I honestly think the tree would be a disaster. So, at any rate, let me finish this all up and I will be back. All right, so we are done. I have used Huda and a color pop, 2 color pops on my lips. The Huda is, well, let me see if I can find these for you guys in my basket. Everything goes into my basket when I use it. Makes it easier for me to find. So we have the Huda Demi Matte in, oh, what are you? Boss. Or Boss. We have the Color Pop times Bretman Rocks Ultra Satin Lip in Wig. One of my favorite colors from them. This is a beautiful red. And then I went all over that with an Ultra Glossy in the same collection in I See You, which is a nice gold glitter. Kind of lightened it up, but it also gave it that glittery kind of shine. You don't see a whole lot of gold, but that's okay. I like it. For the eyes, the adjustments I made is that I used a silver above the brow, and then I went over that, above the brow, under the brow, and then I went over that with a white because the yellow that I had originally used I thought was not giving me the shine that I wanted and the Christmas look. And then I went underneath with blues. So my eyeliner is black, but I went over it with the JD Glow Chrome. And then I had to update, I had to take a little bit of that ColourPop Whimsy and go over the wing. So those were the adjustments I made in the look between the time that I got off here to do my lips and now. At any rate, so like I was saying, and we do miss our whole thing with the Christmas celebration. We do take everything down on a 12th night, which is January 6th. It just seems like an appropriate cutoff date. We don't necessarily have to do that. We initially started all this when I was raising my children in a Christian church, and with my second divorce and some things that happened, I actually walked away from the church. We still do some of the things when we can. We cannot fight. We don't have room for a tree. I don't have, when we have everybody over, we can't have them all at one table when we can. But we do try to decorate a little bit. Some years we've kind of fallen off on that a little bit with the kids out of the house. And I kind of miss that because Christmas is my favorite time of year. And I just love the magic of it. I don't necessarily, when I was younger, I was really into the reason for the season. But I also just have always loved the magic of it. And I love the fact that it is the one time of year. You would hope that people could do it other times, but it is the one time of year when people seem to, other than the Christmas sales, people seem to really go out of their way to be a little bit nicer. I think we're all going to really need that this year, if at all possible. The coronavirus has taken a lot from a lot of people, and I don't mean just family members, although that is horrendous. I know several people who have lost family members to this disease, but I'm also talking about just, it's been wearing. This whole thing has been wearing. This whole year has been wearing. So I'm hoping that some of that magic of Christmas and some of that Christmas joy comes into your life and for the holiday season and helps give you a better day, a better month, a better year. Let's try to end on a decently good note, hopefully. At any rate, I would love to hear some of your Christmas traditions that you may or may not be doing this year. I would love to hear about them down below. Please let me know which of our traditions that maybe you'd like to try. Obviously, a lot of food. Holidays are a lot of food. Yeah, a lot of food. But just the things that we do to encourage our togetherness and our focusing on each other, I think, too, have been beautiful traditions that, I'd love to see other people think about doing as well. Obviously, you're going to have some of your own. And like I said, I would really love to hear it. Anyway, going to stop rambling. As we all know, I do that all the time, which is why some of these videos get so freaking long. That's it for the day, and I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen, I hope you will subscribe. When you subscribe, please hit that notification bell to know when I upload. Currently upload 2 days a week, Monday and Thursday, as this one is proof. And but we also have bonus videos, or we've had bonus videos. We are not having as many right now because I was doing indie brand openings. I'm not going to be doing those until probably the end of January at the earliest for next year. Just one, I'm trying to catch up on some of those reviews, and two, we need to stabilize the financial situation a little bit. And three, I'm trying to get ready to do my indie reviews for the total, how I did in 2020, what I planned for 2021. So everything that I'm finding now, I'm saving for 2021. I am. Also, my son has been opening a geeky type box of stuff for kids and adults. We are waiting on his dad to figure out when he can go ahead and get a new box. We stopped my geek box. They took out the t-shirts. It was horrible. So his dad is looking into something else. We had a hiccup last month. Hopefully we'll be able to see one this month. If not, I'm sure we'll see one in January. And if you send anything, you don't have to, but if you send anything, those will also get opened as bonus videos, unless you don't want me to. Just put a note in your box so that when I open it, I can see that you do not want to have it on the channel, or you can join the domytriesthis Facebook group, which is listed down below, and you can go ahead and let me know on there that you have sent a box, but you do not want to be embarrassed by me opening it here on the channel. And if you're part of my notification squad, please check both your bell and your subscription to make sure they're both still active. I'm still not getting emails about uploads. Hopefully they'll fix that part soon. I do get notification when I go to the YouTube site, however. If you choose not to subscribe, well, I'd be disappointed and sad. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas anyway. Man, we'd really love to see you come back again because we love having the company. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. Alrighty, so as I've noted, as everybody who's been on the channel for a while knows, this has been sitting here, if we're lucky, maybe 10 minutes, which according to the canister should be plenty of time to get to our full strength. So we're going to give it a sip and then we will be on our way. Definitely getting the cinnamon. Not so sure about things like, what was it? Well, we're getting a little bit of the maple, but I don't think I'm getting orange. I think the moringa is giving me a nice undercut, nice undertone of sweetness. This nutmeg might also be in there a little bit. Tastes more like cinnamon. At any rate, that is it for the day. I hope you have a great holiday, or have had a great holiday. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. You know, it doesn't even matter. Just, I hope you have a wonderful, joyous time with your family, and we'll talk to you later.